to receive? I know I do. It's this odd thing, right? I mean, somebody gives you a gift and you feel uncomfortable, right? But for me, I've been thinking about this a lot recently because somebody decided to gift me his time and his expertise. And I've really struggled with receiving that gift. And I think in general, a lot of us have trouble receiving. And we wonder why we can't, create what we want in our lives. And if you can't receive it in, right, if you can't allow it in, then that's a problem, because you have to, if you want something, you have to be able to allow it in, you have to be able to receive it. And so with this person giving me this help recently, I started really thinking about it. Why is it so hard for me to receive? Because I keep thinking that, I keep avoiding him and wanting to, to not set up my sessions with him because I feel kind of guilty for taking his time. And on a deeper level, I feel inadequate, and I feel small, and I feel needy. And I keep wondering, why is he offering to help me? Why would he want to do that? And I have to start I think about how I don't feel good about it. I don't feel good about him receiving it. I don't feel like I'm worthy of that help. And anyway, so it's a challenge to receive, don't you think? It's a challenge. And the fact is that if you can't learn to receive, then you can't allow in the things you want, like abundance, joy, love, success, health. We have to be able to receive that. Because if on some level we're resisting it, then despite the fact that we're asking for it, we're just not going to have it. It's not going to come into our experience. So in the process of this guy offering me this assistance, I really have been thinking a lot about my own inability to receive and to receive graciously. And so I wanted to share with you some reasons why I think that we struggle to receive. And the first one is something I already alluded to, and that's that we don't feel worthy, right? We just don't feel worthy. We feel like we're inadequate in some way, and that we don't have the value that deserves this, right? Deserves to be helped. And the fact is that when somebody offers to help you, what they're telling you is you are worthy. You have something to offer, and they want to help you offer that. They want to help you grow into your potential, right? And I even asked this person, why are you helping me? And he said, I like your energy, and I think you have a great message, and I want to help you share it. And right there, that told me that my feeling of being unworthy was so off base. And that I needed to switch that around and say, I am so worthy that somebody wants to help me. I have enough value that somebody wants to help me. Okay, so another reason that I think we have trouble receiving is that we're afraid that the person who's giving us something, their time, their expertise, whatever it is, that they're going to expect something in return. We think that they're giving to get, and we wonder, what am I going to have to give in return for this? And while gratitude and appreciation are one thing, there's that feeling that maybe there's an expectation that I'm going to give back in some way. And how is that going to inconvenience me, or is it going to be hard, or will I not be able to live up to their expectation? Will I not be able to give back in the same way they gave to me? And so that feeling of needing to give something in return holds us back from receiving. And interestingly, I've offered numerous times to give something back to this person, and author coaching and exchange, just exchanged coaching. And anyway, he finally said, I'm not worried about what you're going to give me, because I know that it's just the way the universe works. Is if I give, it'll come back to me in some way. And not everybody thinks that way, but I do. And it was a nice affirmation for me to hear from him. Okay, so you give to me and you'll receive in some way because of that energy that you've expended, right? Because it's all energy, it's an energetic world. And by me receiving, that I help him give out that energy. So the next thing is that I think we don't receive because we're afraid we're going to be seen as selfish. That if we just take, then we're the taker, right? And we don't want to be the taker. We don't. Our societies don't really like takers, and most of us don't like takers. And so we're afraid that that's how we're going to be seen, as somebody selfish who's just taking all the time. And yet, the giver can't give if you don't take. If you don't receive, the giver can't give. So, you block, as I said, you block the receiving. And so it's actually a selfish act not to receive it from the person who wants to give it. The other thing is that we see there's a lack of control in the receiving. When we give, we can control that. We can control what we're giving, when we're giving, how we're giving. But when we receive, we don't have any control over that. The only thing we can control is our response to the gift, right? We can control our tendency to block it. But what we really need to do is give up control and be super vulnerable and allow ourselves to receive. And that's the other part of it, is that we have to allow ourselves to feel vulnerable. That's the last part of this, is to feel vulnerable and to, there's a connection that happens when you receive, when somebody gives and you receive. And there is a vulnerability to it. In my case, definitely, there's a vulnerability to the fact that I need help. And this person is giving it to me. And that feels super vulnerable. But that's okay. Remember, in your vulnerability lies your strength. And so, you have to be open to being vulnerable and to being connected with people. And, this idea of giving up control, I just want to mention, I used to be involved with a group called the Loving Relationships Training with Sandra Ray. And we were told to occasionally have what they called a helpless day. And a helpless day was when somebody would come over to your house and they would do everything for you. Like, you weren't allowed to feed yourself. You could go to the bathroom by yourself. But you weren't allowed to feed yourself or to pick up anything or, turn on the lights. Everybody, somebody had to do all of this for you. And let me tell you, giving up that kind of control is super vulnerable. Super, super vulnerable. And you feel horrible, you feel selfish because somebody's doing everything for you. So all this stuff comes up during a helpless day. And none of us like to feel helpless. It's vulnerable, it's lacking control. And, we're just feeling like we're not worthy of having that kind of help. So all of this comes into play, right? So what I want to leave you with today is a lesson from the Kabbalists, the Jewish mystics. So this mystical tradition actually says that giving and receiving are so integrally intertwined. I mean, we know that it's sort of a spectrum, this giving and receiving, or more of a circle, that the more you give, the more you receive, etc. But what they say is that in the giving, the giver needs you to receive, and when you receive, you actually give a gift. You give, because when you receive the gift, the giver feels good. The giver feels good. And so that's number one, is to know that when you receive, you actually do give at the same time. And number two is that whatever you want to receive in this world, if you have the intention of giving it, of sharing it with others unconditionally, you're more likely to manifest that in your life. So you want to always have the intention of sharing whatever it is that you want and that you have. So it's a big circle, and giving, receiving, giving, just goes around and goes around and goes around. So I am am intent on having the intention of receiving graciously and openly. And I can tell you that what came out of this this person's giving to me was the most profound sense of gratitude I've felt in a really long time. Super profound. Just so grateful that somebody would see me as worthy of help and would want to give me that help unconditionally. And yeah, I just felt so grateful, so super grateful to this person. So think about it. When are you struggling to receive? And how can you break down those barriers? And how can you feel worthy and know that you're not selfish, and that nothing's expected of you in return, and to be vulnerable and give up that control? When can you do these things so that you can receive what it is you want and receive help if that's the case? I'm Nina Amir. I'm the Inspiration to Creation coach. I help people get from where they are to where they want to go faster than they thought possible. I help them combine their passion with their purpose so they get inspired and take inspired action, and that's when they get inspired results. I do this with certified high performance coaching. I've been certified high performance coach for over 5 years now, and help them get more clarity, energy, courage, productivity, influence, and to master their psychology and their physiology, their effectiveness, their people skills, their and their purpose in life. So if that's something that interests you, then click on the little button up here, the little I, or you might see some words. Click on that and sign up for a free strategy session with me, and we'll talk for like an hour or more about these high performance habits and the pillars of high performance. And I'll give you some tips and tools right away. We can see if we're a good fit to work together. I'd be honored to help you create what you want and receive what you want, and to fulfill your purpose and your potential. I really would be honored, and it's my joy to do that with people. If you're a writer, I'm also an author coach. In either case, you can go over to ninaamir.com and check me out. That application for the free session is at ninaamir.com/free session. But again, you can just click on the little button. So that's it for today. I hope you receive everything you want and that you do it with joy and gratitude. And until I talk to you next time, go out there and achieve more inspired results.